Hey guys, Hippopotamus here, and today I'm going to be very late to the party and bringing you my version of the Turmoil build. Quick disclaimer, you need a few pieces here that are going to be reasonably hard to get, one of which, if you didn't get it when it was there, you won't have the piece. One of that is the Turmoil knee pad that was released. The other pieces are, again, just quite hard. You might have to keep rolling at the table till you get something, or farm quite a lot to get the pieces that you're looking for. However, with all that said, main thing is let's move on and just take a quick look at our specialization. So it shouldn't be any surprise that we're using the sharpshooter for this. So I'll start over here at the left. Flashbang grenades, quite useful, especially if enemies get close. Give you a chance to sort of blind enemies and get away, especially bigger enemies that you can't just one-shot, like sort of enemies with helmets and things like that. It gives you a chance to sort of move away. One in the head, that's very, very useful for our build. 15% increased headshot damage with rifles and marksman rifles is useful because the more headshot damage, the better. Breath control, 15% weapon stability is good for our weapons, especially with the White Death that we're using. It's a little bit unstable, and we don't take any stability modifications because we are looking for crit as well. But I'll go through that more in a bit. So, Emergency Cleanse. This is a good one because what it'll do is it'll give you 100% armor kit, but it also removes status effect and then gives you resistance to bleed, poison, and burn for 20 seconds. We are quite squishy, and status effects do hurt, so this can be quite useful. I want to say the Sharpshooter Tactical Link could be useful for some people. 10% headshot damage is 10% headshot damage. More useful things like people that are tanky, that getting close, where you can't miss the head, you're at point blank. But yeah, it's okay. It's nothing to write home about. The really good one here is the round after round, especially if you're going to play with directives. The reason why this is good is because you regenerate ammo when you're in cover after 20 seconds, giving you 5 marksman and 5 rifle ammo. So if you are playing with directives, you can just sit in cover for a few minutes and then just have all your ammo, no problem. So my home is my castle, extra armor while you're in cover. Again, might save you in a pinch, but it's nothing that's really going to be that significant. The weapons tree really is just, I've got a pistol and a marksman rifle, so synergizing weapons as always. But with all that said, I think we've covered the tree there quite quickly. So I'm just going to go down to the range, show you the build, go through the stat sheet, go through all the little bits and pieces. Okay, so if I don't go to my clan page first, let's take a look at the build. Let's start with the weapons. I'm using the White Death, and this comes rolled with marksman rifle damage, headshot damage, and damage to targets out of cover. I will say that I've got 25 ranks into the damage. The more expertise that you can put into this weapon, the better this build will work for you. Because what I'm going to say is now is the more weapon damage you have, the better this build will work for you. We are stacking things, okay? So I might as well go through this now while we're here. The most important thing is not headshot damage. That's right, not headshot damage. The most important thing is weapon damage. We need the weapon to be hitting as hard as possible and then to go for headshot damage. So headshot damage is important, but it's in a tiered list of things. It's weapon damage, and then headshot damage, and then anything else that we're going for, okay? So that's the reason why we're sort of going for as much damage as possible. Anyway, this comes with a talent called Determined, so after killing an enemy with a headshot, the next shot landed on an enemy will be a guaranteed headshot. That's really important, and it's something that's going to help us. I am also using a Express 3, I think that is, Hollow Sight, which is the 10% headshot damage mod. We have the integrated magazine, which is the stiff integrated spring, which just gives you 5% more weapon damage. Again, weapon damage. And we also have a short underbarrel, if I can speak, laser pointer, which gives us 5% crit chance. So crit chance, crit damage, you're going to see that through this build. There is a little bit of each, and it directly plays into getting some more damage, okay? So yes, that is the reason why we're going for that. So, okay, with that covered, my second weapon, you can use whatever you please. You could have an assault rifle, you could have an LMG, you could have the Pestilence, because I think the Pestilence actually works quite well with the Turmoil knee pads. However, I've just fully locked down and committed to going full sniper, and I'm using the Nemesis. You could use the Mantis. It doesn't really matter for you, whatever you want. This one is sort of sub-perfect. It's not exactly the way that I'd want it. It's got marksman rifle damage, headshot damage, and then damage to armor on it. I probably prefer damage to targets out of cover. I just really haven't tried to modify this, so damage to armor is fine for now, but damage to targets out of cover, much better. The talent, all it does is what it's going to do is it's going to charge up, so it's like a railgun. Shots fired deals 0 to 100% weapon damage based on how long the trigger is held before releasing, so you're going to see it charge up. I'll probably just quickly go through that. I think most people know how to use that. Alright, here's my favourite. I've probably got this glued to the inside of my eyelids at this point. It's just the TDI card. Again, extra skill tier. I've gone through this quite a few times on other videos. Once holding the pistol, I'm going to get that extra skill tier. I also have preservation, especially considering the fact that headshots give you an extra 10%, so up to 20% repairs over 5 seconds, which, I mean, this shouldn't really come as much of a surprise. I just use this a lot across the board, mainly just for, you know, hives. If I throw it down, I've got an extra shot in it, I can pick it up, and then I can keep the hive if I pick somebody up with it. And it just comes with headshot damage mods, really, because we're fully committing to headshot damage after that point. Anyway, right, so I think the most appropriate thing to do is start with the Turmoil knee pads. And these are fixed, you can't change them. They are a Cheska piece, and what these do is they give you 8% crit chance, they give you 15% weapon damage, crit hit chance, crit hit damage, and then the talent is Bewildered. So weapon damage to an enemy, 50% will be split, basically, between two enemies, which is random. The first one that you hit, obviously, is the one you're shooting at, and the second one is the one that's within 30 meters of the first one that you've shot. When there are no enemies nearby, you'll deal damage normally, and does not apply to armor plates. Okay, so there's a bug with this. It doesn't work as intended. As you get stacks, as you get your headhunter stacks, you're going to see the damage is actually split equally. It's almost like it does double damage. Okay, so this isn't working as intended, and it's great because it's really, really broken. Okay, so I'll start with my gear set pieces. So I am using a hotshot holster and a hotshot glove, as we can see here. I'll just go through the stats very quickly. Weapon damage and headshot damage. This is going to be something that we're going to see across the board. But the two-piece, what that's going to do is it's going to give me marksman rifle damage and weapon handling. Weapon handling is great because it's accuracy, stability, reload speed, and swap speed. So it gives you 30 to each of those. So that's really good. That's going to help a lot, especially with the weapon that we're using. It's a little bit unstable and not sort of as accurate as maybe something like the Model 700. Okay, so with those two pieces sorted, again, I'll just quickly show that weapon damage, headshot damage. I'm on to my next piece here. This is the chest piece. Now, this one I got extremely lucky with, and I want to say a little piece of advice for you. If you're crafting these pieces, what you can do is you can change brand sets and see if you get luckier in one pool than another. You can see I have an Aroldi piece here, and then I have a Habsburg. Okay, so you can swap these pieces and try and get them, but it is difficult to get them rolled like this or to farm for them like this. So let's just go ahead and start. The one piece of Habsburg Guard that I'm wearing gives me headshot damage, which is important, and it's rolled with weapon damage, crit hit damage, headshot damage, and a 10% in-slot mod of headshot damage. It's also got the talent Headhunter. We don't need the perfect Headhunter version. It's honestly not necessary, okay? This is the reason why we're going for two pieces of Habsburg, because the marksman rifle damage that we'll get on the second piece is going to increase our base weapon damage. So this will help us a lot. And basically what Headhunter is going to do is, after killing an enemy with a headshot, your next weapon hit within 30 seconds, so you've got a timer on that, deals an additional 125% of that killing blow's damage. Damage is capped at 800% of your weapon damage. This is raised to 1250 if your headshot damage is greater than 150. Okay, we're going to see that we do get it above 150, and we have some passive grabs at that. And I'll go through that a little bit once we sort of finish off the build. Okay, second piece of Habsburg Guard, and like I said, the all-important 20% marksman rifle damage. This is the best that we can get from brand sets at the moment, so this is why we're taking it. It comes with weapon damage, headshot damage, crit damage, and headshot damage on it, okay? So we've got a headshot damage mod popped in there. Now for the bag, again, you can change these two between the chest and the backpack, because sometimes you'll get lucky in one pool and then just not in the other. So this is rolled with 10% marksman rifle damage with the Araldi's talent. It also has weapon damage at 15, headshot damage, crit hit damage, and headshot damage. Okay, so we've put a headshot damage mod in there as well. And then we're taking the talent Vigilance. Increases total weapon damage by 25%. Taking the damage disables this buff for 4 seconds. You know, if we get hit, we're going to lose that bonus. So you really need to kill before you get hit. But this damage increase is just too good to pass up. And damage is what we are looking for. It's the main thing that we really, really want. Okay, so the other thing that I'll do is just tell you about the passive headshot damage that we're grabbing at, okay? So you remember we said we were using the White Death. Again, this comes with a higher headshot roll damage than a normal sniper rifle. That's going to allow us to get, you know, a little bit extra. It's nearly like 20-something%, so like 25%. So that allows us to use the low power zoom scope without taking a hit. It's like using a 3x or an 8x, should I say, the 8x scope with the ability to see rounders and not have to go into the scope. That's really important when you're using this build. Okay, pretty much covered it there. So we do have some passive grabs, but basically the main thing to remember when you're building this build, weapon damage first, then headshot damage. Remember, we are chasing a little bit of crit chance, crit damage, but that's because of the way that the Turmoil works. It's just that it has crit chance, crit damage, and it gives us a little bit of crit, so we might as well take advantage of that crit and have some rolls of crit chance or crit damage, depending on what you need. And again, this will be reflected in the stat sheet for your purposes, depending on your watch level. Okay, so the Reviver Hive, it's just a common sense choice. Without this, you're not getting picked back up, and you're weak. You're all red. It's not going to take a lot to kill you, so it is very advisable to use the Reviver Hive. For my second skill, I just have the Decoy. Now, the Decoy, why the Decoy? In particular, the reason why I use this is because when you are at low stacks, as in Headhunter stacks, which stacks a couple of times, sometimes the damage splitting in half can be more value than it's worth. Like, it just, what I mean by that is, like, it can get you killed. Like, if you can't do the full amount of damage to somebody when the stacks aren't splitting identically and doing double damage rather than just splitting, which is the bug that's with the knee pads, it can get you killed. So this decoy, what I can do is I can throw it out, and it's going to distract enemies, and it's going to give me that extra little bit of time to select the weakest target first. Okay, that's quite an important thing that we have to do, is we just have to choose a weak target that we can pick to get our initial headshot and then stack as we go. We've talked about the flashbangs, won't go through them much more, just that you can blind enemies and get away in a pinch. Right, okay, so what we'll do is we'll just check the range, we'll make sure that the modifiers are off so we don't get inaccurate numbers, and we'll just quickly go through the stat sheet, and then I can talk about the build and how to use it. Right, so if we go to the stat sheet, again, we're using the talents Determined, Electromagnetic Accelerator, and Preservation. Just a quick flick, a quick flick through the weapon damage numbers. Okay, and as you can see, all importantly, we are above that 150 headshot cap at 275, okay? Damage is very high across the board, which is the most important thing that we're chasing. Vigilance, that all-important extra damage. Headhunter, it's the only way that we're going to chain these headshots, very important talent. And the Bewildered Knee-Pad talent on the Turmoil. Using 2 pieces of Habsburg Guard, 1 piece of Araldi, 2 pieces of Hotshot, and the Turmoil, which is Cheska. Armor is very low, 726,000, so we are quite weak, unfortunately. Again, you're not going to see the same numbers, so quick disclaimer here, if you're not watch level 1000, your stats may vary and be different to mine, okay? Remembering that we're using the Hive and the Decoy, and what I'll do is I'll just quickly go through the build. So as I've said, usually when you see a load of enemies, they're going to be in a mixed group, okay? You're going to have some purples, some golds, some reds. So if those enemies are going to get close and you think you're going to get shot, just drop your decoy out first. Let them shoot at that. That's going to give you hopefully enough time to pick your first target. Pick a weak target first. If you can go for a red, go for a red. If you can go for a purple, go for a purple. Sometimes you give no choice, and you're going to have to hit a gold in the head a couple of times. Okay? Don't know if you can actually see the numbers, so what I'm going to do is, let's just get a boss. Okay, named enemy. Okay, so you can see if we just drop an invulnerable, we should be able to see the number now. Okay, so 26 million on a crit. So like I said, once we lose that stack, we need to repeat the process of getting headshots on weaker enemies first, and you'll see that that headhunter, which is just below my ammo to the right, the one with a little picture, it's almost like a photograph with a little man in it. Once that fills up, we can kill pretty much anything. Okay, so 26 million on a headshot, which is really nice. If I just lose my stack though, what we will see is that we're not hitting for super high numbers when we hit the first target. Okay, we've got enough to probably kill most purple enemies, weaker gold enemies like shotgun rushers and suiciders, but we just need to be a little bit careful. The other points to notice is that we've obviously got that extra headshot damage that we can use to, you know, proc a little bit of healing, and we also have the flashbang grenades. Right guys, I'll leave this video just by saying if you want some gameplay, my editing skills are shit. I still have to work on that, and I'm not quite at the point that I feel with the subscriber count that I have that I need to do that. But if things change, I will start to edit videos and put gameplay in. At the moment, this is the best I can do. I apologise for that. I'm just trying to show the builds. If you want gameplay, just drop me a comment and I'll try and put up a live stream and then put the link to it so you can see the gameplay. Alright, thank you very much. See you in the next one.